how this channel actually started was after I started learning, I was a bit more passionate about it. It's all like side hustle. So I got very interested and I kept going to Sarah's room and I kept sharing with her, hey, have you heard of this thing? Have you heard
Especially
of
it was during COVID, right? So he had no one else to talk to.
Yeah, so I kept going to Sarah's room, and this is one of the few things that I would actually go into her room and just keep talking to her about. And then she's like, you know what? He got so much to share. Why not just try to put it online? Yeah, so that's how we actually started.
We have a special guest today on our NOTG podcast, and is the Weeblings. Very privileged for me to have this episode with them, because this time we're going to talk about everything finance plus their journey in the content creation space. Let's go. How often do you all like create content?
We try to post once a week, but it hasn't been working out.
This week
has been so bad.
Okay.
Because I fell sick last week, then after that Aaron fell sick after me, and then both recovered, but then I was like focused on sleeping a lot this week.
Okay.
To like make sure I don't fall sick, because I'm traveling for quite a bit.
Right.
Yeah.
And I
we
was
did a
very
lot
afraid.
of traveling.
Yeah.
I did a lot of traveling. And now she's going to do a lot of traveling next.
Yeah, for like 2 weeks.
Oh, where are you going to?
I'm going for this weekend. I'm going for a friend's wedding at Komodo Island.
Wow. What's that? Komodo Island?
It's some island in Indonesia, I think. I've got to fly to Bali, and then from Bali fly to Labuan Bajo, and then there'll be a transport to take me. I think they're getting married on some private island on Komodo
Wow.
Island.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Where do you come
wedding.
from?
I came back from Krabi.
Right.
Yes, I went there with my uni friends.
Okay.
So it was fun. Got really, really wet. A lot of diving, scuba diving.
Right.
Yeah, it was fun. Came back very sunburned. But
Scuba diving is like snorkeling. You went the real diving.
Oh wait, sorry, went snorkeling.
Right.
But we wanted to go the real diving, but we couldn't because of the rain.
Oh,
then, like, the boss didn't wanna
you
take
and
us
Rain just like not really.
It's just not happening, man.
Right. So like you all do content once a week. It's primarily on TikTok.
No, now we also post every single video we post on TikTok. We also post it on Instagram, and non-Singapore related one we post, like local content, we will post it on YouTube as well.
Oh, okay. Like for US audience.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that like for trading options and all that kind of stuff?
Mostly investing and trading, because a lot of the personal finance content that I create are all like credit card, right? So I can't post it on YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Right.
but if it's more general, like budgeting, expenses, things like that, then I'll post it on YouTube.
Mm.
But the annoying thing now is that they all have different like max
Algorithm.
times. No,
Oh.
it's like when we film, because sometimes our videos
Right.
now are like a little bit longer. So like TikTok rewards you if you post videos that are like 2-3 minutes, maybe like even 10 minutes. They encourage it now. So when we record for TikTok, then we can't post it on YouTube and Instagram, because Instagram is max 90 seconds. So my script is very annoying. But if I optimize it for Instagram, then it doesn't do as well on TikTok. So now
Okay.
we optimize it for TikTok, but we post it everywhere else just because.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we don't have the time to optimize like for specific
Yeah.
platforms right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, is it are all these videos like DIY? You DIY at home or
Yes.
okay?
As opposed to someone do it for us.
No,
How can
I mean
someone-
like just asking what's your model for content creation?
Right.
Yeah. So you do it at home, then edit yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, that's awesome. Right. You started in 2021, right?
Yes.
Okay,
November or December 2021. Something like that. Yeah.
Okay. 2021 until now, how many videos have you created?
I never count.
Ah.
So when we first started, for the first 6 months, we were creating 3 videos a day.
Mm.
And then for the next, I don't know how many months, like
Maybe 3 months, it was 2 videos a day. Then
Okay.
after that, eventually
it became one video a day. So once we hit like critical mass, we're like, okay, enough.
So now it's
One video
once
a
a
day.
week.
Yes.
Oh,
No,
no.
a day.
Now it's once a day.
Once
lah.
a day.
Oh,
Once a
okay,
day.
okay, okay.
That used to
Once a
be
day.
3 times a day.
Oh,
Because
wow,
short form
wow,
content,
wow.
right? And that
So like today you also posted already.
Yes, we just posted a video today as well.
Okay.
So like arbitrary number came from Gary V. So the reason why I downloaded TikTok was because I watched a random video during COVID. He was like, if you are a business owner, because I helped my dad with his business as well back then. So he was like, if you are business, architecture, visualization.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Like all the homes, landed property, all that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think I was like watching a video and he was like, if you're a business owner and you do not have TikTok on your phone, you are an idiot, you are stupid. You know Gary V, right? So like I was like, I don't want to be stupid. So I downloaded the app and I just started like using it, and I got hooked onto TikTok during COVID, like most of us. And I remember, because I watched quite a few of his videos back then, he always talked about getting started on TikTok, and he was always like, instead of telling, because I think a lot of people will try and then they'll tell him, oh, it doesn't work. So he was like, don't tell me it doesn't work unless you posted 3 videos a day for at least 6 months. So I was like, that's our number.
And we just stuck to it.
Yeah.
And we stuck to it all the way. We didn't, like we hit 3 videos a day for every single day for like 6 months.
Okay, and then it worked.
Yeah.
Right. That was November 2021 after COVID.
Yes.
Okay, and you all started from your dad's business, and did it help his business?
No, I didn't do it for my dad's business.
Oh.
It was just because he said like, if you are a business owner, then like it attracted my attention.
Okay.
But I don't think TikTok will help that business. It's more of like a B2B business. Yeah.
Okay. So like, is this like your side hustle? Do you all have like a main thing that you are doing?
Starting this year, this is our main hustle.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Prior to that, what are you guys doing?
Prior to that, for me, I was helping my dad with his business. And then before that, I was a fashion writer at Her World.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And how about Aaron?
For me, I was just a student. So I was studying, getting through my placements, getting through clinicals, and then we started this midway.
He was a physio student.
Right.
Yeah. So he just graduated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Last
so
year.
I graduated last year. So instead of going straight into physio, I decided to do this full time instead.
Okay. So now like this is pure full time.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, then going all in and
Yes.
okay, great, awesome. Maybe share a little bit like what's the plan to like hit 1 million? Like was that like a plan from the start, or midway you set this goal and then you like wanted to share this journey along with your audience?
So that was the goal from the start of our TikTok account. So I think we decided to start posting on TikTok. We felt like if we just started posting about finance or whatever, it wouldn't differentiate us from anyone. And we felt like a journey to $1 million would be a good journey to embark on together as siblings. It'll be fun. It's a good number. So that's how it started. Yeah.
And we also don't want to come across as like we're experts in the field. We're not that, but we thought we wanted to share our journey online. We thought that would be quite interesting.
Yeah.
And see whether people are interested in following us along. Yeah. So that's how it really started.
Right. Like from an authentic point of view.
Correct.
Like you learn and then you share.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So that has been like it's coming to 2.5 years.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, then like usually what kind of content do you all create? Like I saw like some content on credit cards, comparison, miles, and then like you all do options.
Yes.
You do cryptocurrency.
Yeah. So you wanna say it?
Okay, sure. So I think we cover like 3 main topics. We cover making money, we cover managing money, and we cover multiplying money. So making money would be things like side hustles, like making money on social media, things like that. And then managing money would be what you expect, which is like saving, expenses, having an emergency fund, learning how to stretch your dollar, so like credit cards, and then multiplying your money, which would be investing and trading. And so I cover a lot of the managing money part, and then Aaron covers a lot of the multiplying money part.
Yeah. So that's how we like separate ourselves, and then we both try to make money together.
Yes.
Right. Who came up with like this like content framework?
Me.
She did.
In the shower one day. Like it wasn't, but the thing is that it all happened like on the journey. So when we first started, it was just like, let's just post on TikTok. It's fun. And then like, the strategy came later. Yeah.
Right. And then like, where do you guys learn all this? Like, is it like all online on YouTube and then like you just dabble, or you all go for courses or stuff like that?
So far, it's only been online. I mean, I studied communications in school, but back then social media wasn't that big a thing. So we didn't learn about social media that much.
Right.
Yeah. And he studied physio, so not zero.
Yeah,
Zilch.
so everything is from books, online resources, and whatever free resource I could get my hands on.
Don't bluff, you don't read books. He only listens to books.
Audio books.
Right. And like maybe share like when you got started 2021, what was the first like investment that you did? What's the very first, like maybe for the first like 3-6 months, like
In
Okay.
in
To get started.
2021, is it?
Yeah, when you first started on this journey towards 1 million.
Like monetary investment?
And how much do you guys started with, like savings and all that?
Right. So we actually started investing even before we started this journey. I started investing when I was in army, had a bit of army pay, didn't know what to do with it. So I started to learn and invest. And then after I went to trading, I blew a couple of accounts. But
Crypto.
from there, we
when you were in
eventually
army,
learned.
we tried crypto, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we bought
Right.
Bitcoin
Yeah.
back
Wow.
then.
Which year was that?
7 years ago.
Maybe 7 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you guys like Bitcoin maximalists or like,
Not really.
We bought it like we bought it right at the top, and then we bought it on the way to the top.
2017?
I think it was around 10K back
yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
$10,000.
then. Yeah. And then I
Yeah.
was like close to the peak and I wasn't really sure what I was doing. I was just army and like people were telling me, oh, you should
Yeah.
do this, do that. And I just tried.
But it's
It went all the way down.
$300.
Yeah, it was a couple $100. But the funny thing is that many years later, then it went all the way up.
Yeah.
But a couple $100 just became a few more $100.
Yeah.
So nothing very impactful.
So I experienced my $300 becoming $3,000. Then every day
Uh-huh.
I beat myself. We should put more in. Should put
Oh,
3,000.
no, you can't do that.
Are you guys still holding Bitcoin today?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Do you like dollar cost average? Do you buy more or like?
For crypto, no. Because I think getting money into it and all that is actually quite difficult. So we don't dollar cost average into crypto. And anyway, after the whole cryptocurrency phase, then eventually I started to learn about all the different types of asset classes. And eventually I personally settled down onto focusing on equities. So your stocks like your Nvidia, your Microsoft, your just normal stocks. I felt that was a lot easier for me to understand because it's already companies that I'm invested in physically. Like I have an iPhone, so I keep up with what Apple is doing. And so that allowed me to make better investment decisions because I understand the business model. Whereas there are other asset classes as well, like you will hear like gold traders or oil traders, but then it's so complex and I don't really understand it. And so eventually I really stuck towards equities. And that's how we more or less started.
Yeah.
Right. So you started in army.
Yes.
And that was like 19 years old, 19, 20 years old.
Yep, around there.
Right.
And then afterwards, how this channel actually started was after I started learning, I got a bit more passionate about it. And it's all like side hustle. So I got very interested and I kept going to Sarah's room and I kept sharing with her, hey, have you heard of this thing? Have you heard
Especially it
of
was during COVID, right? So he had no one else to talk to.
Okay.
that? Yeah, so I kept going to Sarah's room. And this is one of the few things that I would actually go into her room and just keep talking to her about. And then she's like, you know what? If you got so much to share, why not just try to put it online? Yeah, so that's how we actually started.
Yeah.
Okay. And then do y'all pool funds together to this account or like what's the goal? Like one person 1 million each, or like each person hit 500,000. It's like what's the goal?
Oh yeah, we pool our money together. So all our money is together in my account.
Okay.
So if she runs away, I'm in big trouble.
Okay. So it was like a joint kind of goal
Yes.
that you all had. And like maybe share with our audiences because in terms of our demographics that has been hearing this channel. This channel is largely on real estate property investing
Yeah.
kind of frameworks and stuff like that. Our audiences can be as young as like poly students, all the way to like maybe retirees. Maybe share like from a young adult point of view, somebody that just like graduated, how do they like kickstart this investment journey? Like what kind of advice would you guys give to the younger graduates?
Ooh. Well, first of all, I'm no expert, but based on what I have done, I think you need to figure out your goal first. Because if you don't really know your goal or like a financial goal, then it's very hard for you to invest because there's so many things that you could possibly do. For me, like right now, I'm trying to buy a house. So I need to save money slowly. I can't let my investments drop by 40% because if I want to buy a house and my investments are down, then I can't buy a house, right? So I need that cash available. And so when I know my goal, then it's easier for me to invest. Like, okay, maybe instead of going all into equities, then I'll go all into bonds, which is a lot safer. But for someone like Sarah, who is not looking to buy a house anytime soon,
Because I just bought one.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah, so if she goes all into bonds, she won't get the best return possible. So depending on your goal, then you'll be able to understand what type of investments you want to do. Yeah, so I think start with that first. Then after that, figure out what to invest in, and then your time frame. So usually just those few things.
Right. So like what school of methodology do you guys subscribe to? Like is it like value investing? Like are you guys after like high growth stocks or like dividend dividend yield and stuff like that?
So I guess that depends on
And a few
our
baskets also, right?
yeah. So we've kind of tried everything, but personally for me, I find that value investing these days is quite difficult
Does it work now?
because the value of things, especially stocks, what gives it value, right? Like GameStop, why is it so valuable? I think the time when money was more difficult to make, in a sense where the Federal Reserve in the United States wasn't printing as much money, when the money flow wasn't so fast, then the value of things is reflected on the stock price very well. But nowadays, hype, speculation reigns supreme. So that makes value investing very, very difficult. If you can spot the value, you will still make money. But right now, doing that is just very, very difficult because money doesn't flow to value, it flows to speculation. That's just what I have realized. But it's not that it doesn't exist. So we don't do too much value investing. But personally, I'm more on the safer side. I do like dividend returns. And being in Singapore, I think one of the best things is actually having no tax on your dividends. We buy banks, we buy REITs, and so real estate as well, sort of like real estate investment trust. So buying to these things that give consistent dividend returns is kind of like my style, which is more low risk. But saying that whenever it comes to equities, we're always looking at the US markets. Yeah.
Right. How about Sarah? Like, what do you subscribe to in terms of investing?
For me,
She follows me.
yes, I follow Aaron.
Oh, okay.
I have my own. I dollar cost average into a few ETFs. That's my own savings, and I put that into a DCA into those ETFs every month. And then for active trading, my money's there, man.
Okay. So you all have like different accounts. Like one is for riskier stuff and things like that.
Yeah, we
have a lot of different accounts. Yeah.
Also, that because we try all the different brokers to see like what fits. But so we separate investing from trading it's very separated. So what we invest in grows slowly, grows over time. Trading is what we use to try to multiply our money quickly or lose it quickly as well.
Yeah.
If we're not careful.
Right.
So it's two separate accounts.
And I'm only very interested in like either extremely passive, so I don't have to look at it at all. I don't have to rely on my self-discipline to invest, or something that's extremely risky like crypto. Like it's just this or that. Everything else in between is like Aaron take my money.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're like high risk taker as well.
I am definitely a much higher risk taker than Aaron. Yeah.
Okay. So like for somebody that doesn't have a commitment, like don't need to buy a house, maybe they are like in their late 20s, like what do you think should be the percentage kind of like that they should segregate in terms of like trading versus like do you guys like subscribe to any framework or any advice?
I probably wouldn't advise other people because I don't know like their specific like numbers. But for me, as someone who has a higher risk tolerance, I DCA about 20% of now it's 10 because I didn't change it, but income increase. So 10% of my savings goes into the passive, extremely safe investments.
Okay.
I think about 30% of my income goes to Aaron to do like the moderate like investing, and then about 5 to 10% is high risk.
Okay. So it's like 30% is to really collect very stable yield over like the annual period and stuff like that.
Yes, but it's still more active than my dollar cost averaging into the S&P 500 and a bunch of other like dividend ETFs. Yeah.
Like how do you find like because Aaron, you talked a little bit about the Fed quantitative easing,
right?
Printing of money from the states and stuff like that. Like because QE 1, 2, 3 technically started after COVID on a very accelerated phase in terms of the increase in money supply and stuff. Like do you follow a lot of this like US news and all that?
Yes, so for the US news, I follow it quite closely because when it comes to equities, a lot of it is all from the US. And so it's just my personal take. So I don't want to make this like, oh, this is how it's supposed to go. But what I have realized, the stock price now is very highly correlated with the money supply. So based on what the Federal Reserve is doing, is kind of how I am currently trying to trade and invest as well. As long as the money supply is increasing, I generally try to stay invested. But when they start to cut back, like I think in 2021, 2022, that period, when they start cutting back, then I also pull my money out. It's just something that I have noticed that money supply is super highly correlated with how the stock market moves right now. So like some parts of the US news cycle is very important to me. And I think the presidential election will also be quite important because that may affect stock prices in the future. Yeah.
Let's say coming to November, right, when the US election is happening, what do you think of the possibility of a rate cut? And how does it impact the money supply?
I guess it kind of depends on what the Federal Reserve does. And most importantly, inflation. Again, this is all my personal take, but I don't see inflation coming down.
We put a big disclaimer at the start of the episode. Don't worry.
I feel that inflation isn't going to be coming down that quickly anytime soon, just of the way geopolitics is moving. So inflation will definitely remain high. And if inflation remains high, I think the Federal Reserve will be more inclined to keep interest rates higher. And also continue to introduce more money into the system. And when that happens, I still see stock prices might continue to move up because I feel like that's the driver to stock prices. But depending on who wins, and then who gets to replace Jerome Powell in the future as well, that will probably dictate whether or not I stay in the market or move out of the market. Yeah.
Right. Like where do you learn all this? Because like in Singapore, I realized that not many people really talk about the correlation. And of course, like every time when, for example, like after COVID, when rates were coming down to like 1% in Singapore in terms of mortgage rates, that was because of Fed cutting down rates on a very drastic basis. And of course, when you look at the money supply curve in US, and then you look at the money supply curve in Singapore, both are actually accelerating at the same pace. That also helps to explain why things in Singapore has escalated so much in the last 4 years.
Property prices.
Property prices.
I'm trying to get my first home. It's been extremely difficult trying to get a first home now.
Right. And where do you learn about all this? And where was the moment that you realized that this whole thing clicked?
I like numbers and I like charts. So I can't really say when. I think I just keep reading whatever I can get my hands on that is available online. Sometimes you start to notice certain patterns. I just happen to be reading the news about rate cuts and I just look at the charts and realize that, hey, that was the day when the Federal Reserve decided to cut rates and introduce quantitative easing in 2020. That was when the stock market started to move up. So there is something there. I'm not really sure what that was at a point of time. I just noticed it on the news and the charts. And so I decided to just research a bit more. And when you actively search for these things, then there are people online who are way smarter than me already explaining these things. And then once I hear the explanation and I see the data myself, then I realize that, oh, there is something here. And then I just keep digging further and further and further until I come to my own conclusions, I guess. So that helps inform me on my investment decisions and my trading decisions as well.
Right. And then where do you think this market is going in the next 6 to 12 months? Personally,
I don't think there's going to be any rate cuts anytime soon. And so I think the market is probably going to hit higher until I don't see any chance of there being a rate cut, and I don't see any chance of them increasing the rates as well. So because of that, I'm just going to see stock prices continue to move higher because the money supply is still growing. Based on some of the data that I'm reading, money supply is still increasing. Even though the balance sheet may be coming down, there are other ways that the Federal Reserve that still can introduce money supply. And until that stops, I foresee the stock market to keep going higher.
And also depends on what happens in November, right? Who wins the election?
Yeah. I mean, what you're talking about is they call it the stealth QE. It's from behind the scenes, right? Yes. From the banks, the bonds and stuff like that.
Actually, I'm curious, does that impact property prices as well? Do you guys keep track of that? And how does that actually impact property prices? It's something that I actually have no clue about.
Yeah, so it impacts by two ways. Similarly, the property price in Singapore actually correlates a lot to QE. Wherever QE in US escalates, our prices increase. But Singapore has a very different behavior because traditionally, if let's say interest rates increase in the States, their property price will start to dip because people's buying power and the mortgage power actually decreases. Yeah. But in Singapore, actually, the correlation of interest rates versus prices has already delinked about 10 years back. So there's been a few rounds where rates increase, but our price still increase. Then when interest rates dip, our price still increase.
It's always increasing. Good luck, Aaron.
Largely it's because of the 15 rounds of cooling measures. Then we have very high ownership rate, 9 out of 10 people, they own properties.
Well,
So
you're the 1 out of 10.
Holding power is very strong. Yeah. And we have capital inflows and like a lot of different effects lah. But I think like there were some statistics that at the rate that US increases the money supply, technically including everybody in the whole world, because we're all pegged to the dollar, our money in the bank in terms of cash is decreasing by 7% purchasing power per annum. That means if our investment don't beat 7%, or our real estate prices don't beat 7%, technically your purchasing power is depleting on a year-to-year basis. So that's that like something that is healthy for people who own assets, but unhealthy for the next gen. Like they will find it harder and harder to own their first property.
Oh yes, definitely feeling that right now.
So you are getting married, getting a property soon.
Yes, getting married in the next few months.
Okay,
and we're trying
great.
to get a property in the next 1 or 2 years. There's a property that we have in mind.
2 years, right? Because it's not out yet.
Yeah, the property that we want to buy is a resale, but MOP period ends in 2026, 2027. So we're just waiting for that property to be open, and then we're gonna take it.
Oh, you're hunting for a specific one.
There is a spot that I really want, and so I'm just like hoping your property price doesn't go up in the next 2 years, so that I can get the place at a decent price.
Okay, cool. Then for Sarah, you just bought your property. Was it for investment or own stay?
Yes, it's mostly for investment. So it's actually the same place that we live in with our parents right now.
Right.
But the rental yield is quite high.
Okay.
So we thought it was a good investment. Yeah.
Right. Then personally, do you believe in real estate?
As an investment? Yeah. I mean, I have what I bought one, right? So I guess I would have to believe in it.
Right. And how does that fit into like your portfolio picture? Like, is it going to be something that once you have more funds, you will try to accumulate more, or you are more like, okay, one is enough, and like,
I think in Singapore, because of the ABSD, I think one would probably be enough, unless I'm looking at properties overseas.
right.
Yeah.
Aaron mainly talks about like making and multiplying, right? Then when you talk about managing, what kind of main focus are you on now, like in terms of managing money?
So I think for me, it's about building my financial system. Like I told you the numbers that like 10% here, 20% here, like how much I want to spend, things like that, to make sure that everything is identified and automated. Yeah. So that's like the main thing I talk about, as well as my credit cards. And I'm trying to get more and more into like loyalty programs, things like that, to stretch my dollar, because I am spending anyway and I want to make the most of the money that I'm spending.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's largely systemizing.
Yes.
Okay. And credit cards like earning cashback, miles and all that.
Yeah, mostly miles. I don't really do cashback as much.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what tips do you have, like maybe for young professionals? Like they just started their first job. How should they think about money?
How should they think about money?
Yeah. Like for example, some people maybe they grow up with a fear of money, in the sense that they always feel that money is insufficient,
right? Or
they fear actually earning more, or they find that it's difficult to grasp the concept. There's different like psychology about how we think about money. Some people think about it as a tool, a vehicle, and some people think of it as like a game that they can like win it. For example, like you guys, what you're doing is like you think that you can actually systemize it. You treat it like a game, like a journey, right?
Yeah.
Like how do you think like somebody can start to really think maybe more positively about the potential perspective of money?
I guess for us, we look at money as a means to an end. We don't look at it as the end all be all. The goal is never like a monetary number, but a goal is like the lifestyle that we want to have, and or the family that we want to bring our kid. Not my kid. I don't want to have kids. For him, it's a lot about like the family he wants to bring his kids up in and things like that. So I think we look at money as a tool, but we use a game to kind of multiply the tool, I guess. I think the second someone looks at money as the end all be all, they kind of get caught in this weird like rat race where the goalpost keeps moving and it's never enough and they're never happy. So for us, we actually just made a video on this.
What was the title?
We haven't posted it yet, but it's a longer form video on YouTube.
Okay.
It's about retirement.
Okay.
The number that we found, I think it's like we found the retirement.
Our retirement
number to retire early or something like that.
Right. Are you able to share it? I think this episode will come later than your episode.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I think I'm
sure.
gonna post it today, right?
Yeah.
We
What
can't
we're
edit
doing
so
right
fast.
Yeah, but
What's the magic number?
the magic number that we came up with is we're kind of following the 4% rule, but not at the same time. But anyway, 2.5 million per person.
Okay.
Yeah.
At
So-
what age?
I guess the goal for now at our age would be 40. If we could get it by 40, that would be great.
Mm.
Yeah.
That means at 2.5 million, you'll be like totally free.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, but of course we would need to come up with a strategy to invest that money, and also with the 2.5 million, we also are still going to continue like working, but we will be able to be more flexible with our working hours. We're already
Have
very
more
flexible with our
freedom.
working hours, but I think more freedom with regards to like jobs that we want to do. So
Mm.
we will only work with people that we really want to work with and things like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
So just now I hear about the 4% thing. So 2.5 million, 4% is like 100,000
Yes.
interest that you earn
Correct.
per year. Okay.
Correct. But okay, actually, you can explain the caveat because most people get confused about the 4% rule, and I think there's a lot of misinformation going around online that if you at whatever age,
Mm.
as long as you hit your 4% rule, you can retire for the rest of your life. But that's not true.
Okay,
Yeah,
come
and we
on.
just did an episode on it as well.
Okay.
So the 4% rule was a study done quite a while ago. So the 4% rule is only meant to last you 33 years. That was what the study is about. Because if you take 4% all the time for 25 years, you end up with 0%. But if you invest the money, they found that in almost any period of time, you're able to withdraw that 4% for at least 33 years.
Mm.
So that actually extends the amount of money that you have. But let's say we retire
At 40.
40, we will run out of money at 73.
Okay.
So there's going to be a huge problem there.
Right.
Yeah, and so the 4% rule doesn't necessarily work if you're too young. So we're talking about it and thinking
Yeah.
about how we can re-strategize this. And of course, we're going to assume that like the world's going to remain roughly as it is. And so if we invested in bonds right now, you can get it at 5%.
Mm.
And it's not going to match inflation, but you always end up with your capital untouched.
Mm.
So if you invest
2.5
and-
million.
Yeah, if you invest 2.5 million and you take that 5%, you get about 125-ish K a year. And if you don't spend all of it and you can reinvest it, then that's a decent way for you to live life, still grow your portfolio, and they'll probably last you a lifetime and still have things left over for the next generation as well.
Mm.
So it's something that we were covering as well. And we're just like dissecting the
Yeah.
4% rule.
But the
online.
strategy will always change because in when we're 40, the interest rates may not be 5% anymore.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I don't know.
Right.
Hopefully, it's a win-win either way, I guess. I don't know.
I guess so. Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
so,
interest rate being high is bad for you when you want to buy a house.
Yes.
right. So how about Aaron? What does retirement mean for you?
Well, for me, it's very different from Sarah. So I want to get married and I want to have kids. That's something that I want to have. So for me, early retirement would mean that I can spend time with my kids and my family. And I think that's very important for me. And that's what I want for my short to medium term goal. And afterwards, when my kids are grown up, but it's like so long from now, then I can continue to pursue whatever I want as well. Yeah, so that's roughly how I see retirement, which is a bit different from how Sarah sees her retirement as well. Yeah.
My retirement is basically I just want location and freedom of time.
Mm.
Yeah.
Just want to travel.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I want to get married, but I don't have kids.
Right.
Like
And-
I likely won't have kids.
But I
think.
do want like location and time freedom as well. So like the job that I'm trying to pick, I do want that. But the reason for wanting that is to be able to spend time with my kids in the future. Not so much I just want the location and time freedom.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of like a
like
means to an end as well.
and like what has like growing up been like what was the money language at home?
Our parents aren't very. I think my dad is good at making money, not good at managing, and very bad at multiplying. Our mom is relatively good at managing, but also bad at multiplying.
Mm.
So if we look at that framework, that's how money was growing up.
Right.
Which is why then Aaron from young, I think because they tried some investments and there are some people in this world who are not that great and scammed our parents.
Okay.
And I think
Are they
that
both working? Like were they both working? And-
only my dad works. My mom helps
home.
with the family. So my dad has a full-time job and also has his own business.
Mm.
So my mom and I help with the business, and he has a full-time job as well. Yeah. So my mom doesn't work, but works at the same time, like helps my dad.
Okay, so they lost
Yeah.
some money for some like investment scams and stuff.
Yeah, so that was kind of when Aaron was getting more and more interested. I think this is when you were in poly, right?
Yeah.
Poly or army. So
Right.
I think he was getting more and more interested in investing, and he also saw that our parents. So that's when he realized that our parents were actually getting scammed with like insurance and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
So that's when he like flipped.
What's
Yeah.
that scam about? Like,
There's actually a couple of scams, but it's all by that same person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is it insurance scam?
the insurance isn't a scam, right? Yeah.
Okay, it's the same person, but he just happened to be an insurance agent or financial advisor.
Okay.
But,
And gave out that bad advice.
yeah,
for
but
one of
before
that
that,
plan.
he introduced them to I think like a gold scheme. So during like the gold rush and then
Yeah.
when
Then
gold
you
prices were
queue up
soaring,
and kind of stuff.
and then he got him into this like gold mining thing. Was a complete scam. Put the money in, nothing came out. Then
We don't know if he was scamming them or he himself got scammed.
Okay.
But
yeah.
he was the one that introduced it to them.
Yes,
Okay.
and then
And also
after that,
the
he
crypto-
introduced the forex one.
Yeah, yeah.
Then there's the forex one. He tried to introduce the crypto one, but I think my parents were like done with it by then.
Aaron was very upset when they told him about the crypto. He's like, no, you are not putting money in there.
Yeah.
Did they lost a lot of money?
Yeah. About five digits.
Yeah.
Maybe close to. Yeah. I'm not sure on the exact amount, but I know it was in the 5 digits. Yeah, and that's when we were still like teenagers. So I think
6
it
digits,
was,
all right? I don't know. I feel like it was 6. I can't remember.
Cumulatively, I'm not sure.
Oh wait, 6 digits was the investment amount that they made. You know, like it's the scam where you give them. This was the one with the bank, right? You transfer the money to some like random bank in Europe, like Russia or Switzerland or something, and then they will give you statements every month. Oh, your
It's a
investment has
pyramid
grown by
scheme, right?
like 20%, 30%. So they see that big number there, but
You can't withdraw it.
Yeah.
Right.
the capital's also gone.
Yeah. And then the last one was when he finally became a financial advisor or insurance agent. We won't name him because I don't think
Yeah,
it's
we won't
nice.
name him.
But then he introduced my parents to a lot of investment plans. Wasn't very suited for my
So
parents.
our dad was too old.
Yeah.
That was the one that pissed you off the most.
Yeah, because by the time like he would be able to profit from it, he's gonna be so too old for it. So we stopped that as well. Because what's a 30-year investment plan for someone who is so old?
So
The
when
ILP, is it?
Yeah, that's
when
that's
Aaron
ILP.
was waiting for uni to start, right? So he part-time, he needed a part-time job. So he worked for, there was like for an FA, right? It's an admin or something, and they were like, hey, we'll pay for you to like get your, what's
Go for
that?
a course.
Yeah,
and
go for a
license.
course. So he was
M
like,
something like M3,
Yeah.
M4.
So he was like, oh, you know, why not? Someone's going to pay for me, right? Even though he wasn't that interested in becoming an insurance agent, he's like, I want to learn.
Right.
So I know whether or not this is a good career path or not. But he went for the courses, and I think the thing that ticked him off the most was that when he was in the course, he learned that it was unethical to sell to someone above a certain age. And then
Because they technically don't need it.
and then that guy sold it to my dad who's way above that age. Yeah. So that's what like ticked Aaron off.
And
the
also because
most.
ILPs, which means the financial advisor also helps pick which investment fund to put in. Yeah, he didn't choose a very good fund. So that was when I was so pissed. It's like, at least do a good job and pick a good fund. But he was picking something that was yielding less than what bonds would return. So I'm like, how is that going to work
and
out?
back then interest rates were very low.
And plus the sales charge and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so at the end of it, thankfully, there's something like after 10 years or something you can withdraw with no penalty. So after 10 years of investing with them, he put in 100,000. After 10 long years, he finally got back $102,000.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So you made 2%, I think, in 10 years.
Right.
Right. But remember
Which
when they're
divided by
showing
10
you the
years is
chart, right? They're showing
0.2%.
you. Yeah. So what's the point? Right.
Yeah, but luckily we saw it right at the right time, because if we waited a few more months, the market tanked after that. So then he
Right.
wouldn't even have been able to withdraw at profit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was one that they didn't lose money on, but a lot of the other ones, those scams, the real scams, they lost money. So I think that's when Aaron was like, you know what, I need to learn to help manage money. So he also helps manage my parents' money now. It multiply their money, not manage.
Yeah.
The managing is still my mom, but he helps with some of the investments.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the era with a lot of pyramid schemes, gold pyramid schemes.
Yes,
and
it was a pyramid scheme. Yes.
Now actually what recently I just like know that there's like Telegram schemes going on.
Oh,
It's like they will set up a chat group. No, there's WhatsApp also. They will set a chat group. They target like people all sorts of ages, teenagers as well. And then they will say that, but all these people are like fake people. And then they'll ask you to put money in, transfer this amount, then by this time they'll transfer you back, and like
Yeah. Yep. So basically people use our names. So there's the Weeblings Telegram channel.
Right. And TikTok accounts
and
as
there's a lot of people following.
my.
So I don't know, we don't really like, there are a lot of fake TikTok channels, a lot of fake Instagram, and then there's also fake Instagram not really because we have the tick already, but TikTok hasn't given us a tick yet.
There still is a lot of fake
so
ones.
there's a lot of fake ones on
like
TikTok.
Weeblings investment and all that.
Yes, so they will repost our videos and they'll start messaging like our followers. So the Telegram one, someone just emailed us this week, a few days ago, and he was like, "Hi, I saw your Telegram message about investments. Like, how do I transfer the USDT to you?" And I was like,
and they're just like ready to transfer.
Yeah, I was like, we don't
my.
like. Yeah, so the Telegram one is the investment scam. So on Instagram, there was like one main like big fake Weeblings account with more followers than we have.
Oh.
And like it's gone, I think. But like back then they were messaging all of our followers, and that wasn't an investment scam. That was a course scam. They were selling
courses.
Yeah, like a 15,000 crypto course.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, by the Weeblings.
Did
Obviously,
people buy? Like,
we don't know.
Yeah, like our friends are speculating that people bought because if like they wouldn't keep doing it if it wasn't working.
right.
Yeah, but that was when we kept like that's why we started paying for the verification tick. So on Instagram, I think even though there are still fake accounts, it's a lot harder to scam now because we do have the verification tick. On TikTok, we don't have the verification tick yet because it's much harder to get the tick on TikTok. So we're still waiting for it. But TikTok, we have a lot. I think there are like over 30 fake Weeblings accounts. And
Wow.
I think someone from TikTok contacted us. She was like, "Do you know that there are so many fake accounts?" And I was like, "Yes, we need your help." Because every time people reported it, they wouldn't get taken down. So finally, because someone on TikTok saw it, right? So they actually deleted every single one of them, like at one go. And a few weeks later, it's like 30 more.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And
So-
all these like they're all these syndicates are not even in Singapore.
Probably
Probably
not.
not.
Yeah.
Right. And like going back to the part about your parents being scammed in the past, like how was the language at home? Like was it like a very healthy language on like money? Like what was your perception when you guys were growing up, primary, secondary school years about money? Was it like okay, because for example, some families maybe the constant language is that it's very hard to earn money. Like, you know, 钱很难赚, right? Or maybe certain families, they grew up with a more kind of like abundance kind of mindset. Yeah. And like how was it like back then when you guys were young?
Abundance out there. Yeah, actually, I don't really know how Aaron felt growing up, but I think for me, it was less about money is very difficult to earn, but more abundance. But I think, so I think there was a more balanced view. Abundance in the sense that I think our parents tried their best to like cater to our wants whenever like if I wanted. Aaron doesn't really want a lot of things, but when I was young, like I would want like an Xbox or something, right? Then my dad would after a few weeks or months of begging, like he would try and buy it for us. And he doesn't, when he buys things for us, he wouldn't complain and be like, "Oh, you're spending so much of my money, you know, it's very difficult." He would just like buy it for us because he loves us, right? But then on the other hand, we also have my mom who would instill things like more of like investing, more of savings. So she always tells us from young, like, you need to save. So I think since I was in secondary school, I would already save. I think she opened a bank account for us when we were very young. So I learned to save from a very young age. And I learned to track my expenses and budget from a very young age. But I never had I never thought that money was that hard to come by. Yeah.
So your language of money was like quite okay.
Yes, I think it was very healthy for me.
Yeah, it's more like a
Yes.
tool and like,
Yeah,
okay.
correct.
How about Aaron? Like,
I guess it's very similar to Sarah as well. But when it comes to money, I still remember when I was younger. Same. Sometimes I want something, but maybe I'm not as thick-skinned as Sarah. I keep asking for it.
Yeah, and I have very short attention span. So everything I ask for, I get bought, and then it gets passed down to Aaron. Aaron's very happy. He'll play with it for like 2 years. I played with it
so
for
you
like
got
2
more
weeks.
like toys.
So she will like, so for example, that Xbox, she was the one who begged my dad for it, and then I ended up
Playing it.
using it more. Yeah,
Right.
so thank you very much. So I guess that was it. But I still remember my dad also telling me when he's buying me these things, he also lets me know that, hey, this costs money. Money's also doesn't grow on a tree. Yeah. So it also insists that, oh yes, I'm getting something. My dad's fortunate enough to get it.
Yeah.
But also understand that you don't it doesn't grow on a tree.
Yeah.
So you have to eventually work for it. And yeah, so that just like grounded me that, okay, you have to work hard. You have to make ends meet in the future as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my dad also, I think he worked from home because he started his own company as well, right? So we saw him work a lot. So I think we also, even though he was buying us things, we could physically see our dad working at home. So we also knew that money took work. But we're just fortunate that we didn't have to work back then.
Right. And like, how did, when you look back at that kind of like moments growing up, then with the way that your parents love you, the language of like money and finances and all that, has that translated into any thought process like recently when you guys were creating content in the last few years? Do you think that any of that has shaped how you look at finances? Like for example, like your moment about being angry with the investment scam and all that, like perhaps did that like
actually that was the biggest
mold you on
fuel.
this journey or like,
I think out of everything, that was probably the biggest one that kind of like pushed us towards like, okay, we need to learn how to
Yes, because
invest and multiply.
you cannot
our
trust
money
anyone
on
else
their
with
own.
your money. I think that's the biggest, because that was a very, very, very close family friend, like a very good friend to my dad. So at that point when everything like happened, we both realized that there's no one you can trust with your money except for yourself. Or maybe like, I mean, I trust him with my money, so I guess accept each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like family, right? Aside from families, no one you can really trust with money. And not all families. I think we're just like fortunate enough that we can trust each other. But yeah. So I think when we realized that we had to take on the education and learning financial literacy on our own, that's when everything started. Yeah.
Right. So Aaron just graduated.
Yeah.
Physio.
Yes.
Okay. You got a degree.
Got a degree, but I
In
have,
health science.
Yes, or in physiotherapy, but I have not worked in the
A
clinic
full-time
yet.
job before.
Yeah, I've not worked in full time. Yeah, I've not worked in a full time job before. Yes.
Sarah worked for how many years?
How many years I work? Technically, I am
How
still
old are
helping
you?
my dad, right? So I'm still helping my dad. What? So like 7 years?
Was that a side hustle or full-time?
Full time.
With his company.
Yes.
And that was like, but in between you did like writing at the Her World and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So her was my first job.
Mm,
That was like when I was younger. That was the job that I really wanted to.
right. So now you left the job already at your dad's company.
No, I'm still helping him.
Still helping him?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I just am not as active, but I'm still helping.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, do you guys read like Rich Dad Poor Dad?
No. Did
no.
you?
Like the
I
four
listen-
quadrants.
I
ah?
listen-
We've seen a lot of
Yes,
videos like
okay.
summarizing them.
I'm familiar with the four quadrants.
Okay,
thing.
like the E quadrant, employed, then self-employed.
Yeah, then there's the
business.
asset and business and
Aye. So like what's the mindset that you took the courage to do content full time as a content creator? Of course, this is your business, right? Your channel is your business, and like technically this is like a B quadrant, right? A B quadrant, business quadrant.
Yeah.
While doing this B quadrant, you're also in the I quadrant because you are investing in the I space, the asset investor.
Yeah.
Right. And technically also like if let's say both of you are the main like bosses of your brand, it's also at a stage that is a little bit like a self-employed.
Yes.
Yeah. So what was the turning point that you decided, hey, I don't want to be in the E quadrant. I don't want to work in a company.
Okay, Aaron is someone that's extremely risk averse, as you
Okay.
can probably tell from our talks about investments. But he's a numbers guy. So honestly, it's the numbers that made him switch.
yeah.
Okay. Like share a little bit more.
What I would make as a fresh grad physio was less than what I would make if I were to do this full time. And so I just decided to do this full
As
time.
in just invest, just like focus on this.
Yeah,
On content
focusing
creation.
on content
Content
creation,
creation.
Yes.
investing, and building like the business as a whole. That just paid more than what I would have made as a fresh grad physiotherapist, working in a hospital. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe share this with like the younger generation, because this is a new kind of thing that's happening now in the last few recent years, that content creation can be your business. At the same time, with your business, there's like more spin-offs, right? Like you can teach people about investing and all that. So how do you monetize your business?
So we have quite a few monetization streams. Some are more consistent than others, which is why we diversify a lot. So I think it started out with sponsorships. I think most people are familiar with like brand, what they call again? Brand
Brand deal?
deal sponsorships where brands pay for TikTok, it'll be for a whole video. I think on YouTube, it'll be like a few seconds in a video. That's sponsorship. So that was our first foot into like making money online. Oh,
Like
actually
per
not.
video.
Actually not making money online. Making money through social media. Because
Right.
we made money online before social media.
Right.
Yeah, because we had e-commerce thing that we started during COVID as well.
What was that business on?
It's iPad sleeves. So
Oh,
during COVID, I bought the new iPad Pro with the Magic Keyboard, right?
Okay.
And then I really wanted a sleeve that could protect the keyboard but also look aesthetic, because a lot of like the tech sleeves out there are very ugly in my opinion. It's not my aesthetic, right? So we decided to design one on our own
Okay.
because I couldn't find one out there.
So you create your own brand and stuff.
Yeah, so we created our own brand. It was during COVID, so nothing much to do. We were just at home every day. So that's why we started. So we contacted a factory in China, and then we designed it and then shipped it. And our parents lent us some money to buy the initial like batch, and then we just started the business. We just took everything, all the pictures and everything. We did it ourselves at home.
Right.
It was just fun.
Okay.
Yeah. So that became our first business.
On
E-commerce
like, making money
business.
online.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
And
yes.
then now like the main business model.
Now the main business model for content creation would be sponsorships, and then we also this year have started doing speaking engagements. So speaking at events, hosting as well. We also make money through affiliates, and there are 7 I wrote down that day.
Agency? Is that one of them?
Oh yes, and then we have a small agency. We don't I guess it's called agency, even though we're
don't
not
really know
really
what
an
to call it.
agency. We basically help clients create content for their social media platform, like organic. But the reason why we got into it was because he wanted to try doing content creation full time, and we realized that sponsorships for someone, especially someone like Aaron, it's very difficult for him because he likes consistency in his life, and we needed something that could pay us every month. So we started agency work for 2 clients. Yeah.
Right. So it's like constantly increasing and expanding the business now with streams of income.
Yes.
Do you funnel all this like income into your investments?
Yes.
Right.
So we spend, our agency money, which is the money that we get every month, we use that as our monthly expenses, and everything else we make
into the pool fund.
goes into like our pool investment funds. But Aaron will be taking the money out when he needs to buy his house. So right now we're pulling it together to grow as much as possible in the next 2 years before he buys his house.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And right now we're putting our money, that bulk of the money is in, like Aaron said, depends on your goals, right? So for this short term or short period of time, while Aaron is still growing till he hits that particular number that he has, he's almost there, he's like 80% there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So once he hits the 80% number, okay, so now we are in a more like safe, lower risk, low reward type investment. Yeah, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So
Right now.
for right now. And then once he hits his number, then we might try and diversify a little bit more again.
Okay. Then
Yeah.
we'll probably like go more high risk.
Yes. Yes.
So we started with high risk and then now moving towards low risk.
We didn't start
Until I
high
build
risk,
up my
started
capital.
medium risk.
So when Aaron takes your money out, then what are you going to do with your money?
I haven't decided yet. I
We
don't think
haven't
that far in
really-
advance.
We haven't really like think about it yet. So like
Yeah.
also like the $1 million journey. What's gonna happen like when we take the money out? We're also not very sure how does that flow because it hasn't come yet, and we'll probably figure it out when the time comes.
Yeah. So the $1 million journey has been quite like it was supposed to be $1 million, but now it's $1 million portfolio, right? So whenever whenever we take money out of that for our own personal investments, we minus off money from that pot. So that's how the journey has been going. So like we are now at about 100K plus because I took out some money for the house.
Right.
Yeah. And then he will take out
Are
some
you
money for
married?
the house. I'm not married.
Okay, so you bought as single.
I bought as single with my boyfriend.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So you took out money, buy a house, then now Aaron's going, okay, have, like this 1 million, is it like liquid portfolio? As
So
in, like, it's not-
right
it's not
now,
real
right now
estate
it's
stuff lah.
No, it's not.
oh
real estate
yeah,
stuff.
it's not real estate
Okay,
stuff.
alright.
Yeah. Yeah. So right now it's very liquid because Aaron needs it for
Yeah.
his house. And then we will explore different asset classes. In the future, maybe
Maybe
we
real
might buy
estate.
property. Who knows, right? Yeah.
I'll come to you for advice for that.
Sure. And like recently, like in a couple of our podcasts and also our internal banter, we talk quite a fair bit about like cryptocurrency and Bitcoin as well. Like, what are your viewpoints on like crypto and Bitcoin? Like after the 2017, you bought a little bit, and then like what happened after that? Next 7 years until now. I mean, like we just passed the halving and like.
For us, we look at crypto. Well, there's the whole movement about it's gonna be the next big thing. It's gonna be this. It's gonna be that. Personally, I'm not too confident on the movement, but I'm very confident that speculation will push price up and down, and that's what I'm trading.
Yeah.
So I'm more interested in seeing how I can make money off cryptocurrency and how I can trade it. I wouldn't really call it an investment because it's hard to see how that might really be an investment when it'll be like gold, right? So like again, it doesn't produce anything. If I invest in something, I want it to produce yield. So it'll be like how Warren Buffett views it. But Bitcoin isn't going to produce any yield for me. So it can be a store of value, but then it's only valuable if everybody else in the world finds value in it. And unless that happens, right now I look at it as a vehicle to speculate, but not so much as a vehicle to invest.
Right.
When it comes to store of value, I still think gold, and to be honest, real estate as well would probably be quite good. I'm just not very familiar with real estate. So I think that's why we haven't really dabbled into it yet.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
And like, how about Sarah? Like, do you like study about cryptocurrency and all?
I think for me, I view crypto like he said, like it's trading. It's more of, we know how I talked about how I split my savings and investments into different buckets. For the money I put into crypto, it would be from the trading bucket. So it will be for me to potentially make life-changing money from a little bit of money. So it's more of like a gamble. It's fun. It is more, I see it more as a hobby than an investment.
How do you define life-changing money?
Like you put in $1,000, you get $100,000, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, like 100x. Because, I mean, you've seen that happen with crypto, but it will never happen with equities. And I will never risk the money that I want to put into investments for that 1% chance of life-changing money. Because a lot of my friends are older than me, I think about like, so they never ever had to go through like what Aaron went through with housing and things like that. It was very easy to get a house back then.
Yeah, we just don't know what to do now. Like, I guess we just don't get houses, right? I mean, we can't afford it.
Yeah.
Question, what do you need right now more than anything?
Down payment.
Money for the down payment for my house.
You come in maybe with a microphone, work hard, then I come in very hard. No. How?